Our next speaker is Swami Shuddhabodhananda Saraswati ji. Namaste. Welcome, sir. Once again, I remember you very clearly. In 2019, when the Vedic Wisdom Festival had happened physically happened in Rang Sharda in Bandra, I remember you came, you spoke to all of us, and you had the whole audience transfixed for the 1.5 hours that you were talking. I will not forget that session that you had. So we were very, very happy, sir, when you accepted the invitation to come and speak to us again. Swamiji is a Vedanta teacher in Mumbai. He teaches largely in English, but is also comfortable with Hindi, Kannada, and Marathi. He established the Visweswar Trust in 1983, which helps spread this knowledge of Vedanta. His teachings are freely available on the YouTube channel of the Sri Visweswar Trust. I would now request Swami Brahmavidananda to say a couple of words and welcome Swami Shuddhabodhananda.
It's a great pleasure to have my Guru Bhai and batchmate from 1976 course and Sandipni as one of the predominant speakers of this session. Yeah. He is a very traditional, authentic teacher of Vedanta. And I'm sure you'll discover all that when you hear him live. Swamiji, welcome. Thank you for coming. It will be a pleasure to listen to you.
Welcome, sir.
Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. The topic of today's talk is You are Ananda. You are happiness. When I say you are happiness, you are Ananda, each and every one of you has to take it as I am happiness. I am Ananda. Not that I am happy. At times I may be happy, other times I may not be. It is not a statement. You are Ananda, I am Ananda. When I say the sun is Surya, the sun is self-luminous. It means light, 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 no time darkness. So also, if I am Ananda, I should be all the time happiness, 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 no trace of sorrow. Do you accept this statement? Is it yours and our case? Are we not riddled with sorrows? Most of it in birth and death, janma marana, janma marana. Is the statement right or wrong? We have to investigate what is the source of this in the statement. It is from Vedas. especially Upanishads called Vedanta. Vedanta, in its Tattiriya, the ultimate purpose, presents two entities, one of which we don't know anything at all. We have to totally depend on scriptures, Vedas. It is called Brahman. And Vedas, Upanishad tell that Brahman is Sat, ever-existent principle. It is Chit, self-knowing knowledge principle, self-experiencing knowledge principle. It is Ananda, it is happiness, nothing but happiness. The other entity is you and me, what we call as I. About this I, we know few aspects, but the Upanishad says this Brahma and this I are identical. If you consider our present life, this statement that Brahma and I are identical can never hold good, in the sense we experience ourselves quite contrary to this Brahma, Satchit Ananda. At the same time, Vedas, the Shruti, being the highest pramana, highest means of knowledge, cannot go wrong. That means we have gone somewhere wrong. We will have to investigate what this I is. Before that, let us consider what the Upanishads say about this Brahma. Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. Brahma is Vijnanam. Vijnanam means the knowledge principle, Chaitanya. In English, we call it pure awareness, pure consciousness, which makes us all aware of, makes us all experience, makes us all knowledge, anything, know, anything and everything. That is Vijnana. Itself is Ananda, happiness, that Brahma. Anando Brahmeti Vyajana. Bhrigu, after self-inquiry, he discovered that Ananda, happiness, is Brahma. So, the de facto, what we are in fact is, we are an entity subject to birth, death, joy, sorrow, etc. It cannot be pure happiness principle. Now, the Upanishads say, de jure, the rightful, the truthful is, we are Ananda. Why this contrast? The problem lies in our mistaken identity, erroneous identity. See, let us inquire now. When we say I, universally, what we refer to is the body. physical body. Perhaps the body can be I. Universally, it is convinced that we are convinced that body is I, but now we have to investigate it. At times, we take the mind as I, indriyas, senses as I don't know anything, ignorance as I. But one thing about us, we know universally that whatever that entity I may be, it is certainly sentient in nature, sachetana, and that I is, it exists all along. In the waking it is, in the dream it is, in the deep sleep, of course it is, though some may doubt about it. We recollect, I slept well, I did not know anything. So this recollection, memory, is based on the experience we had undergone in the deep sleep state. I was there, but the mind which you could have expressed was not available at that time. So on waking up, I recollect so. Now tell me, if this entity called I persists, is continuously available in the waking, in the dream, in the deep sleep state, obviously the physical body cannot be I. Why? In the dream, you are not aware of. In the dream, you are not aware of your body. Maybe lying on the bed, you are not aware. You are out of your cognition. Still, the dreamer I persists. In the sleep, whether the waker I is there, body is there, or the dreamer I, the mind is there, still the I persists. We recollect. Me, we had gone to sleep yesterday, who of course dreamt in between, and now I am awake. The I is a common denominator, whereas the body, the mind get discontinued in the other two states, in ignorance also. So, then who is this entity I? It should be necessarily the common denominator, the entity which makes us aware of the waking world, the waking body, including the waker. That is, that principle which makes me experience, aware of dreamer, dreamt world, and dream experience. It must be the entity which makes me aware of nothingness, including the absence of knowledge of myself in sleep. It cannot be anything other than the Chaitanya, the pure knowledge principle, the only experiencing principle, the pure awareness principle, pure conscious principle, called as I. We call that should be I. Shastra calls it as Atma. Atma is nothing but the true I, the real I, in contrast to the mistaken body as I, the mistaken mind as I, the mistaken ignorance in the sleep as I. This Atma, Ayama Atma Brahma. This Atma, the Chaitanya which always is Sat, that knowledge, it is knowledge principle, Chit, itself is Ananda. I is Sat Chit Ananda. Brahma is Sat Chit Ananda. Obviously, both are one and the same, though presently we do experience quite contrary to it. You may wonder, how do you say this I principle is happiness? It can be demonstrated right now here. After waking up from the deep sleep, what is your immediate experience? For a few seconds at least. It can linger unless you are hyperactive. Immediately after sleep, there is a sense of quietude. There is a sense of happiness. From where did it come? Generally, for us to be happy, we need Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha in the sense objects of pleasure, like music, delicious dish, like that. None of them were there, and you are happy. It is because of the lingering impressions of the presence of this Chaitanya Atma Brahma in the deep sleep state to the total exclusion of the gross world and the subtle world. In fact, sleeping means in Sanskrit, Chandogya says, Swapiti. Swapiti means Swamapiti. You are what you are in reality. You are Paramananda, limitless happiness in the deep state. Unfortunately, this ignorance denies us to be aware of our Paramananda nature. This ignorance has to be ended. So we are seeing now, in short, of course, I cannot elaborate it in this short period of time. Sat Chit Ananda. Today, our focus is on this Ananda aspect. On the aspect. As you have seen, that the Chaitanya is me, itself is happiness principle, itself is the ever-existence principle, Sat, ever-knowledge principle, Chit, ever-happiness principle, Ananda. But we are not aware of it. It is not at our disposal. Left to ourselves, we go on searching happiness here and there in the world. The universal aspirations are, I want to live happily forever. I don't want to suffer sorrow at any time. I would like to live perennially without death. For this fulfillment of this desire, we do many things. Do and accomplish. In Sanskrit we call sadhana sadhya. Do this, get this. Do this, get this. Do this, get away from this. But if we routinize the human history, we find that so far none has succeeded in discovering that happiness, having got which nothing more needs to be sought. If it is so difficult that this happiness which makes us ever contented is not possible by our means, in the world, is it not wiser proposal to drop that pursuit, stop that pursuit? The tyranny is we can never stop our pursuit of seeking happiness and getting away from sorrow. Neither we can accomplish it, nor can we drop it. At this juncture, Upanishads come and tell, my dear sir, you are Ananda Tattva. You are self-evident, self-knowing, self-experiencing happiness principle. This is what the Shastras commented. So this being the case, the effort at our disposal, or the means that are at our disposal of do this and accomplish this, do not work. As I told earlier, there is a problem of mistaken identity. Mistaken identity, which needs to be set right. So for which Vedanta recommends to us an inquiry, Atma Vichara, self-inquiry, as to find out what this I in reality is in terms of limitless happiness, totally free from sorrow. And the peak of sorrow is in Janma and Marana, the cycle of which we cannot avoid at all, unless we discover ourselves to be nothing but only Chaitanya Tattva, pure awareness principle, to the total exclusion of gross body, subtle body, causal body. In fact, if you carefully scrutinize the sorrows are contained in the waking and the dream state only. Is there anyone who has sorrow in the sleep, if at all he sleeps? No. Even a terminal cancer patient suffering agonizing pain, if he sleeps, no sorrow. That proves the sorrows emanate from gross body, physical body, and the psyche, the mind, which truly cannot be the real I. But we have taken them to by the corollary is we have to suffer those sorrows. That being the case, this I is free from gross body in the sense that Chaitanya which makes you aware of my gross body should necessarily be different from the body. Because the illuminating principle is distinct from the illumined entity. So is the case with the mind. The principle, awareness principle, which makes me aware of mind with all its vagaries, should be distinct from the mind. The principle which makes me aware of nothingness, that ignorance is a state, must be distinct from that. So that principle is mean. In Mandukya, it is called as Turiya. Turiya means just fourth. Fourth means distinct from the waking world, the waker, and the waking experiences, distinct from the dreamer, dreamt world, and dream experiences, distinct from the deep sleep state called causal body and the nothingness, ignorance in them. It is the Chaitanya, the Atma itself is what? The Ananda Swarupa. The thing is, the existence aspect of everything is clearly experienced. Clearly experienced. But see, and this Chaitanya, where is this Chaitanya? You may say, in our body, all our bodies, true. But it is sarva vyapi, all pervasive. Is in and through the space, even beyond the space. Space means Srishti, creation comes into account. Even beyond the creation, Srishti, Chaitanya persists. It continues. It's everywhere. Chaitanya is everywhere. But its presence is felt only where there is a mind we call antakarana. In and through each and every antakarana vritti, or what we call thoughts, the Chaitanya is there, which is available to us for our cognition, not directly, but in terms of its reflection, called Chidabhasa Pratibodha Viddham Matam. In and through each and every thought, we recognize that sentience principle, that is Chaitanya, that is the true I. So, the easiness aspect of I Atma is recognized everywhere, in the sense, in the inner things also, in the sentient things also. But the sentience aspect, chit aspect, the knowledge aspect is recognized only where there is the antakarana or the mind. See, that's why in the universe we get these two divisions, inner, jada, sachetana, sentient. Not that Chaitanya is not everywhere. Chaitanya is everywhere, but its presence is felt where there is Suksharira or Antakar. It's just like this. Go in the open, when the sun is shining, light is everywhere. But the physics says you can't see the bare light. Only where there is reflecting surface, we see the reflected light. So is the case. Wherever psyche, mind, antakarana is there, we feel the presence of knowledge principle Chaitanya. Now comes the case of the Ananda aspect, happiness aspect. Mere thought will not help us. this Ananda aspect, which is the true nature of you and me, can get reflected in some very subtle vrittis, very subtle thoughts called Priya, Bodha, Prabodha. Priya is that joy or happiness that you experience at the news of some desirable object or being. Before that, one thing you can see. What is happiness? What is sorrow? What do you mean by happiness and what sorrow? Happiness is that experience we get from a delightful, desirable disposition, the state of mind. Happiness is that we experience through a delightful, desirable disposition, means the state of mind. Contrary to is sorrow. Sorrow is what we experience through a painful, undesirable disposition of mind. This we know, happiness and sorrow. Now this Ananda, which is our true nature, you are happiness, you are Ananda. That Ananda, happiness, you and me are, is or can get reflected in vritti, subtle vrittis, or Priya, Bodha, Pramoda. Priya, just now, is the delight you get at the news of some desired entity. Suppose you got an email from your college friend, a fast friend, whom you had not met for last 20 years. And said, I'm coming. On my way to my native place, I'll be passing through Mumbai and I can spend one day with you. You are happy. You go to the airport to receive him. When you see, you are more happy. The earlier happiness is reported to you, presented to you by vritti called Priya. When you personally meet him, the more joy you get is Bodha. And when he comes home, you are chit-chatting and you are remembering all those things, etc. And you are so happy, Pramoda. Other examples can be, let us say, you are a Parama Bhakta of mangoes. What is the month now? December. This is not a season for mango. But you got a news that, hey, in the market, mangoes have come. And your friend, who is a reliable person, has told you. You are happy, no? December, mango. You are happy. You rush to the market. Yes, there are mangoes. You ask the price. He goes. Not bad, costly, but it's out of season. So you get a dozen of them and put in your bag. Are you not more happy? You come home and eat the mango. Best. You are still more happy. Priya, the news. Moda, you bagged the mangoes. Pramoda, you ate the mango. But you have to be cautious. Bhashyakara Adi Shankaracharya, while defining the Pramoda, he says, the excessive happiness you get from that is the Pramoda. That which give you happiness as the moda is not be Pramoda. I can right now demonstrate it. You got the mangoes and you cut it, eat it, your mouth becomes sour, worthy to be taken a photograph. Why? It turned out sour. No Pramoda. So therefore, the excessive happiness, Pramoda. Priya, Moda, Pramoda. So, we are Ananda, but present light of our seed, only when it gets manifest through Priya, Moda, Pramoda, we can experience it. We try to do many things to be happy. To some extent, we do get happiness, but never to the total contentment of ours. Still further required. Still more I want. Still more I want. There is never thus far, no further. Means our pursuit has not succeeded. If that is the case, what is that thing? What is that entity which denies you and me the limitless happiness that we are? How do we get it? We are. What me is can never be deprived from me. And here is a case, we are deprived of that. That means some obstruction is there. If we succeed in getting rid of that this obstruction, we will succeed in discovering the happiness that we are. And that obstruction, of course, at the root cause, it is the ignorance of our true nature. But at the practical level, it is the mind. The mind which is extrovert, preoccupied in the world of objects, vishayas, beings, people, events. That mind denies us our true nature, happiness. Vedanta recommends us first the self-inquiry to ascertain that what I am in reality, Satchit Ananda, and provides the means to tune our mind so that we can directly discover what we are in real nature. That is the inquiry and the preparation of the mind. The mind which is withdrawn from the external world, called as antarmukha or introvert totally, is the mind which helps us to discover directly, to be aware of directly, to know directly, to experience the self-experience of me directly, and know what I am in reality. So therefore, we have to resort to the means provided by Upanishads in terms of inquiry and in terms of the preparation of the mind to discover what we are in nature. The question is now, the happiness that we experience in the world is available in varying degrees. If that is the case, what can be perhaps the magnitude of happiness that is our true nature, called Paramananda, or also called Brahmananda, or also Atmananda, all being one and the same. Perhaps what can be the? Interestingly, in Taittiriya Upanishad and also in Brhadaranyaka Upanishad, we get a statistical analysis of the Paramananda, Brahmananda, which is our true nature. But you don't know. All that you know is some happiness born from the sense pleasure. How can you have at least some idea about the magnitude of Paramananda, Atmananda, Brahmananda, which is our true nature? For this, the Upanishads devise a method. First, it determines one unit of maximum human happiness, in the sense the maximum happiness a human being can experience, that is determined. Then it goes further in terms of higher and higher and higher embodiments, up to the highest embodiment called as Hiranyagarbha, the firstborn, the first citizen of the entire cosmos, and then shows the Brahmananda is such that all these degrees of happiness enjoyed by different embodiments at their level is just not even infinitesimal particle of what that total Brahmananda is. Briefly, let us enter into this analysis. It says, first, what is the maximum human happiness? It says, Yuva Sat Sadhu Yuva Dhyayaka Ashishto Dudishto Balita Tasyam Prativi Sarva Vittasya Purnasya Saeko Manusha Ananda. This is one unit of human happiness. What is it? Consider an emperor who is Yuva, who is a youth. Youth generally means around 25 years. But Yuva also means this way. In a lifespan, the earlier half, say up to 50 years, can be considered Yuva. Other half as old age, up to 50 years. Not old, up to 50 years. Yuva sadhu yuva dhyayaka. Not simply yuva, youth. Sadhu yuva. A young one who lives a life of dharma. Sadhu doesn't mean saint or sannyasi only. Sadhu means a person who lives in accordance with the Vedic injunction. Dharma doesn't mean religion. It's a big problem. Dharma is translated as religion by our secular people and big nonsense going on. Actually, religion must be translated as mata. Dharma, of course, mata or religion is a small portion of dharma. If dharma is ocean, religion is a little portion. Dharma actually is under many meanings. But in short, it is Vaidika Achara Samvita, the prescribed code of conduct given to us by the Vedas. So, sadhu yuva, who lives in accordance with the Dharma Shastra, not a licentious person. Adhyayakaha, who has learned the Vedas. Learning of Veda signifies that he had the highest learning. Other learning he had. According to our culture, Mundagam says, two types of Vidya's knowledge are there. Apara, para. Para is the highest knowledge which makes you aware of what you are in reality, what is Jagat is in reality, who is that Ishvara Tattva, the Creator. Apara, not inferior, but not superior, is a branch of knowledge which enables you to live in this world, earn for a life, decent and dignified living. It provides everything. At the same time, this Apara Vidya prepares you to be able to take to Para Vidya. As per our Sanatana Dharma culture, Para Vidya, Apara Vidya are like two wings of a bird. A bird cannot fly with one wing, however strong it may be. It needs both. So our culture is so. And Apara Vidya was not neglected. If you have a doubt, see the syllabus or the subjects that were taught in our Indian universities like Nalanda. On the net it is available. See what it is. Making a man self-sufficient, not the present education. You get educated and go with a bowl of degrees, give me job, give me job, etc. No, makes you self-sufficient. But anyway, unfortunate that Macmillan did all this to destroy our culture. Fine, that's fine. Now, this, that is, Apara Vidya also is there, but Vedic knowledge, the highest knowledge, Adhyayaka, is a very learned person. Then he is Ashishtaha, alert in doing action, very smart. He has got the presence of the mind, such a person, not sluggish. Ridishtaha, daring, adventurous, enterprising. Balishtaha, very strong. not sufficient. Tasyayam prithvi sarva vittasya purnasya. And he is owning this entire globe is emperor. And what type of globe? Vittasya purnasya. With plenty and prosperity. Imagine what happiness he can enjoy. That is command. Everything is there. No rivals also. Perhaps it may be like that. When Dharmaraja was ruling the kingdom after Mahabharata, to some extent, the happiness that he can command can be compared to 1 unit of maximum human happiness. If you take this into account, no Rockefeller, no Bill Gates, no Birla, no Tata, etc. can come anywhere near this. You may know, but still more better rich people. I don't know. Nowhere comes it. Now you say, the Upanishad shifts to higher and higher embodiment. It says, then 100 times of this unit of human maximum happiness is that of Manushya Gandharva. Gandharvas are celestial musicians. There are different types of them. The lower one is Manushya Gandharva. His happiness is 100 times of what? This human maximum happiness. 100 times of that is that of Deva Gandharva. Still higher embodiment. Then comes Pitrus, mains, still 100%. Ajanaja Deva, still some deities or denizens, still higher, 100% more. Karma Deva, still higher embodiment, 100% more. Devas, still higher embodiment, 100% more. Then the king of all these deities, Indra, still 100%. Then their guru, Brahaspati, still 100%. Then Prajapati, or Virat, the deity of macrocosmic physical body. The physical body of you, me, and all is the physical body of Virat, the presiding deity, 100%. Then comes the Hiranyagarbha, called Brahma only. Hiranyagarbha is the presiding deity of macrocosmic subtle bodies. The Antakarana, the pranas that we have got at individual level are part and parcel of this total Hiranyagarbha. Therefore, he is called also as Sutratma. It's called as Sutratma. The psyche in you and me is that part of that Hiranyagarbha. 100%. Now comes that all these, what is that? Happiness experience at the level of all this embodiment is simply what? Very, very infinitesimal portion of that brahmananda. Says Upanishad, etasya eva anandasya anyani bhutani matram upajivanti. Matra, you are not even a bit. All they experience. Examples can be given like this. Ocean. Vast mass of water. In that, a spray particle of water. You know, when the waves come and lash on the shore, sprays fly off. how tiny that water particle is in the spray, so is the happiness of each and every individual at different embodiment level. Imagine, that is brahmananda. Now that's called viprut, ocean and viprut. Viprut means spray particle. Now you may say, that's fine, sir. In our life, is it possible to discover this? Yes, provided you accomplish this frame of mind. What is it? Yasmin kali dvaita bhanam nasti. One condition. When you are not aware of the dual world, dvaita jagat. Oh, Swamiji, very easy. Sleep. You are not aware of the world. Nidrapi namagachati. You are not asleep. At the same time, you are not aware of the jagat, including your body. Tasmin kale upalabhyamanam yat sukhamasti. At that time, whatever happiness you experience, saha brahmananda. That is brahmananda. That's what it said. Manovyapara bhava samayi. In the absence of mentations, you are awake, and yet your mind is not preoccupied in anything whatsoever, including your body. At such time, yat sukham bhasate, whatever happiness is experienced, tat atma swarupa. So in this way, we, in reality, the real I is Paramananda, Brahmananda. This aspect of our true nature of happiness is very beautifully described by Vidyaranya Muni in his text called Panchadashi. In the last 5 chapters, 11 to 5, a pentad of Ananda, 5 chapters describing Ananda. He goes in detail to prove our true nature to be happiness and provides the means to be taken to, depending on our capabilities at different levels. It depends where we are at the present juncture. Based on that, he gives the means. I can't go in detail here, but just I will give a bird's eye view of it. So you have to study this, and if study of Panchadashi is too much, I have summarized Panchadashi 15 chapters. And of course, it will take time to provide as an e-book, maybe 6 months or so. You can keep in mind the website Turiya Bodha, TURIYABodha, turiyabodha.com, on which it will appear and it will be free download. All my books are there available. Free download. Turiya Bodha, TURIYABODHA.com. You can go through in English only, it will be there. Vidyanamuni, in these 5 chapters, he calls them as Brahmanande Yogananda, Brahmanande Atmananda, Brahmanande Advaitananda, Brahmanande Vidyananda, Brahmanande Vishayananda. First 3, which are nothing but Brahmananda only, but he has analyzed as Yogananda, as Atmananda, as Advaitananda, depending on the means. In 11th chapter, Brahmananda, Yogananda, the means is Chitta Vritti Nirodha. To an extent, Patanjali Yoga. Difficult. But in the highest one, that Yogananda is said. He establishes, based on detailed analysis of our deep state, how our Sarupa is Brahmananda, how it can be gained through the yoga, of course, with Atma Vichara. Those who cannot take to it, he comes down to a level to discover the same Ananda, Brahmananda, by means called as Atma Ananda. So this Atma Ananda is wherein the means adopted is jnana, knowledge. While inquiring Atma, he presents 3 categories of I Atma and establishes. He succeeds, but the 3 categories of I Atma can give a wrong notion that Atma is 3 types. It is not correct. That I is of 3 types, not correct. For that, he gives the means of Advaita, wherein this wrong notion is displaced, and that Atma itself is non-dual Advaita Ananda. Then comes the Vidyananda. In fact, Yogananda, Atmananda, Advaitananda are Vritti Rahita Ananda. Happiness experienced without Antakarana Vritti, without Antakarana Vritti. Whereas in Vidyananda, Vrittis are there. It is such a state. Jnani means the person who has got direct knowledge of what I am in reality. After getting absorbed in one's Swarupa, when he becomes aware of the world around, including one's body, what joy, what happiness he experiences, that is what the Vidyanda. The last one is Vishyanda. A person who is much preoccupied in the world around. Such a person, in and through his activities, can also try to cognize the Brahma aspect in terms of its 3 facets. Sat, ever exit principle. Chit, knowledge principle, Ananda, happiness principle. In fact, he gives what is called as Mishra Brahma Dhyana, a mode of meditation, wherein the Jagat aspect also is there with Brahma. That's why he has given that Vishyanda aspect. Now let us see. Brahmananda we already seen, because it is based on the means of yoga, wherein the mind is totally withdrawn from the world. And it is that mind, antakarana, vritti rahita, thoughtless, conforms to, becomes just like Paramananda Brahma Swarupa. That is Yoganga. Bhagavan Krishna in 6 chapters defines this state as Dukkha Sanyoga Viyoga. Very beautiful definition. English we can put the state of disassociation from the association with sorrows. We are associated with sorrow. This association, that is yoga. What makes us associate with sorrow? Our antakarana vrittis thoughts in the state of identification with the body, because sorrows belong to body and the mind. In this state, each vritti has got association sorrow. You detach from them, you are what you are, Paramananda Swarupa. Now, in Brahmananda, Atmananda, this is based on the principle that entity called I know. About this, one thing should be known, that it is Parapremaspada. Whatever entity we take it as I is a locus, aspada, ashraya, locus of limitless happiness, a limitless love. And the locus of limitless love, the corollary is, it should necessarily be the locus of limitless happiness. Parapremaspadaha, I, because this I is such that I never wanted to cease. I never wanted to die. Manabhuvam bhuyasam eva. Iti atmani prema ikshate. Manabhuvam. Let me never die. Let me ever be. Bhuyasam eva. Let me continue. Iti, so, atmani in oneself, prema ikshate. We are experiencing love towards oneself, that I should never die, I should ever be. Means it is a locus of limitless love. Anything which is the locus of love is the source of happiness. So therefore, that is another thing. This I is such that we can never get rid of it. Can we get rid of I? Come on. The waking you up. the dream you are, in the sleep you are, 24/7, extend to week, fortnight, months, years, yugas, kalpas. You can't get rid of it. At the same time, that identity is such that it can never be an object of our hatred. We never hate ourselves. You may say a suicide hates and tries to commit suicide. True. But that hatred is not towards I, it is towards the body which has landed in an unpleasant situation for which the suicide thinks that there is no solution. Even in this case, love for oneself is there, but the situation is that he thinks there is a solution of ending the life, which is a dangerous thing, because one should know. Suicide, by the by, suicide is not a solution. If only the person who wants to commit suicide knows what happens after death, that person will not dare to think of suicide in dream. Because our embodiment is guided by prarabdha. What his body is given. If that body is ended before the prarabdha over, you are like a person who was in a rental house. You vacated the house without seeing for other house. You are in the footpath. So the suksharir of this body, without physical body, goes on. There is no means to satiate hunger and thirst. Very pitiable condition. Okay, that's fine. So now, this is that I am the locus of limitless love is questioned by some people. They say, sir, everyone is meant for others. Husband is meant for wife, children, etc. Wife is meant for husband, etc. So, others have got prominence, you are subordinate. At times, contextually, others get such prominence. Others get such prominence. For example, a person is on the verge of death. He has got a lot of properties to manage. At times, wife or son, etc., are of much importance because they can manage it. This is called Gavana Atma, secondary Atma. Second one is, you are emaciated. Your body is emaciated. You want to take nutritious food, do exercise, and put on weight. The I you refer is the body, Mithya Atma, false Atma. You happen to expose yourself to the webinar like Vedic wisdom. Oh, we should get Atma Jnana. We should get Brahma Jnana. We should get something called moksha. That I you refer to, Mukhya Atma, the true I. So therefore, maximum love for true I, simple love for other eyes, secondary and false. And any entities other than this, either you are indifferent or you have got hatred. I can't go in detail here on this. This is a way of Atma Ananda. Then Vishyananda, he categorizes this or Antakarana Vritti in Shanta, Ghora, and Mudha. And points out In the Shanta Vritti, there is an occasion, possibility of Ananda, our nature being experienced. In the Ghora Vrittis, this is not possible. That is, Ghora is what? Terrific. It gives insatiable thirst for sense pleasure. Buddha Vrittis, confounded, they exhibit ignorance and confusion. So therefore, these three vrittis we confront with in our day-to-day life. We should try to entertain Shanta to the exclusion of Ghora and Buddha. Thereafter, of course, he gives what is called as Mishra Brahma Jnana. Not Jnana, Dhyana, Mishra Brahma Jnana. In inert entities, the is aspect, Sat aspect is clear. In the Ghora and Buddha vrittis, the Satchit aspect, existence knowledge aspect is clear. In the Shanta vrittis only, the Sat existence aspect, Chit knowledge aspect, Ananda, happiness in a varying degrees is available. So therefore, what you do in and through your daily activities, you try to appreciate the Sat aspect, the Satchit aspect, the Satchidananda aspect, so that your mind slowly becomes introvert on what is your true nature, Satchid Ananda. When pursued in course of time, that mind can get absorbed in the Ananda which you and I are. So therefore, you are happiness is a statement of truth. It is not a statement of consolation. But we have to inquire, prepare the mind, tune the mind, and discover for ourselves, for which further inquiry, further studies of Upanishads is necessary. I told you about the Taittiriya website. By January, one text called Anubhuti Prakasha by Vidyaranya Muni, which comments on poetical composition, 12 Upanishads in 20 chapters, on which I have written a detailed commentary. Hopefully by January end, it will be on the website turiyaboda.com. It will be available for free downloading. The uniqueness of Anubhuti Prakasha as composed by Vidyaranya Muni is, it is just like a mini encyclopedia of Vedanta. Those who are not able to take to study of Shankara Bhasha Upanishad can get much benefited by this text. You can make use of it. Fine. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Swamiji. As usual, very clear, very precise, and very authoritative in the way you deliver your. You are obviously steeped in this knowledge, and that came across very, very clearly. Loved the way you unfolded your Ananda, and I also loved the way you broke up Satchitananda so nicely. Any questions from the audience? We'll just check. Somebody is asking, Pranam Swamiji, what is Gauna Atma? Gauna Atma. What is Gauna Atma?
What is called Atma?
Gauna Atma, it says. I don't know what is Gauna Atma.
Gauna Atma.
Yeah, Gauna Atma.
Gaunatma is an individual other than myself becomes more prominent than myself for the purpose of doing something which is very much needed to me. The example I gave is a person on the verge of dying. There's everything to be done. He can't do it. He can delegate that work to the wife or son or anyone. That person, in this context, though not I, is not Atma, myself, but becomes required, necessary, and the Shastra calls him secondarily Atma. It just shows not Atma, I, but he can replace I in this context. That's all.
Understood. We don't seem to have too many questions. We don't seem to have too many questions, Swamiji. I will now invite.
I could not get it.
I said we don't seem to have too many other questions.
Oh.
I would like to invite Swami Brahmavidananda Saraswati to please thank you and to say a few words. Swamiji.
Yeah, thank you for being with us. The work that you have undertaken in your writing, I'm impressed by that. I'm impressed by that because Anubhuti Prakashika, I have taught that text. It's huge. It's a huge text. And to write a commentary on each chapter is... How many years did you take, Swamiji, if I may ask?
What is that? For what?
For writing this Anubhuti Prakashika commentary?
See, when I first came across this, I was a little sad because such an important text is totally neglected in the present day Vedanta circle.
Yeah.
So first I taught, since I don't remember, I think maybe from 1996 up to 2006, I taught it at different occasions.
Yeah, it takes that.
Like that. It was somewhere in 2016, I decided to write the commentary on that. And because of COVID, etc., it went on delaying. Hopefully, by the end of December, it will go to the press. And by January, the book should be ready as well.
It's a voluminous work. I'm impressed.
It is about 20 chapters, means 2,800 verses.
Yeah.
And the book is running into 2,200 odd big size pages. Okay. 4 volumes.
Voluminous. I'm impressed, very impressed by that. And looking forward to it coming out. And once again, thank you for being with us. Okay. Oh.
Thank you. Oh, thank you all.
Thank you, Swami Shuddhabodhananda ji. Thank you very much.